Hey everybody, Sneaky Narcotic, back at it again with another YouTube video, and today's the day, guys. It's the beginning of Eldraine spoilers. So yes, this is September 4th, and this is a lot. I mean, first off, let me say, please like, share, and subscribe. Before we get into everything, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to be literally posting a video every day until spoiler season is over to make sure I cover all, and I mean all, of spoiler season. But yeah, guys, so like, this is how I feel today. They dropped 57 new cards, not to mention the ones they already have. I'm not going to go over those. If you would look back into my video history, and you will see where I've posted a big update, and then what we know so far from Eldraine, where I went over all those cards they've already given us. But yeah, guys, they dropped 57 cards on us today, and that was pretty good. I'm going to tell y'all how I'm going to look at these cards. So first, I look at them through the eyes of Standard, through the eyes of Brawl, because with this set in MTGA, Arena will finally be able to have Brawl. Brawl's been a thing, I believe, since either Ixalan or Dominaria, but it really hasn't been a thing online yet till now, when they're going to bring it to Arena. So the other thing to look at is this new extended standard they're calling Historic. So this is everything from Ixalan forward. So everything exactly from Ixalan to Eldraine once the cycle comes in. Now, that being said, the cycle actually takes place from M19 backwards to Ixalan. So to put this in perspective, the cycle from now is going to be Ravnica Allegiance, Guilds of Ravnica, M20, War of the Spark. So it's not gonna leave us much from what we already have, but it is to start a new cycle. So that's what that does. And that's why I assume they went into Historic, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about, especially pertaining to Historic, which I hope is coming to Arena. So the last thing I want to talk about is my favorite format to play, and that is Commander. Now, of course, there's another thing I want to mention. This set pertains specifically to fairy tales. That being said, I'm going to talk a lot about the art, and I hate to do that. I know some people don't care about the art, they just care mechanics, but card art, especially in this set, is so beautiful, I can't help but mention it. And the way I'm going to mention it is at least try to give a guess to some of these cards, not all of these cards, but some of these cards, to what fairy tale they might come from. Also, just a little heads up, I am at my mom's house recording this right now, so she can watch my kids while I record this. But anyways, that's just to say you might hear a little bit of background. They do have a little Maltese, and my son sometimes, he's awake, and God love him. He's 4 months old, so anyways, guys, let's get into the actual spoilers. So we're going to start pretty heavy here. This was one of the first spoilers I woke up to this morning, and that's Oko, Thief of Crowns. 1 generic, 1 green, 1 blue, Simic colors, legendary planeswalker Oko, mythic rarity. +2, create a food token. I wish I would have been able to show y'all a card that actually said what a food token was before showing you Oko, but this isn't how it came up. So a food token is very similar to a clue token if you've played Eldritch Moon and Innistrad. But basically, a food token has the script that says, pay 2 generic mana and tap the food token, sacrifice it, gain 3 life. So, the +2, what can you do? It's a +2. It's not going to be too powerful. I would like to mention first off, before going any further, he comes in as a 3-drop. 4 loyalty for a 3-drop planeswalker is very nice. Very nice. +1, target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature with haste, power, and toughness 3/3. Excuse me, I'm sorry, it doesn't say haste. A little blurry because I had to blow up the picture, but with base power and toughness 3/3. The -5 is exchange control of target artifact or creature you control and target creature an opponent controls with power 3 or less. Now, the -5 isn't as strong as I would want it to be, but this is a 3-drop Planeswalker. And I mean, guys, we're going from the other 3-drop Planeswalker that's insane, which is Teferi Time Raveler, to Oko. Oko wins hands down. I don't care what you say. Faerie Time Raveler draws you a card, whatever. Oko, if you +2 him the moment he comes down, then on turn 4, +1 him, targeting the food token you just made, it instantly becomes a 3/3 elk creature, and 3/3s are very powerful on their own. I wish it was more relevant. I wish it wasn't an elk token. I wish it was kind of like a knight token, which we're going to talk about. Knights have become insane. Or a wolf token for a future planeswalker that I'll be introducing in this video, so stick around. As far as Oko goes, I love it. I love it. It's a Fae planeswalker. There's some mixed ideas what a Fae is. I thought a Fae was a fairy. I'm probably wrong. But to me, it kind of looks like Oberon, which is the king of fairies. So I don't know. You know, I'm not going to take a big guess at Oko, just to say that he's Oko, you know? But that +1 ability, not only having to target your opponent's artifacts or creatures, but your own, is really good in my opinion. I don't know if I care too much, honestly, for the -5 or for the +2, but this is another thing, is that you bring him down turn 3, +2 him, turn 4 you can instantly -5 him as long as he hasn't been touched. So you can ultimate him almost right away, you know? So that's pretty good for a planeswalker. So this is a Flaxen Intruder. This brings us to a very new mechanic called a Sorcery Adventure. So I'm going to explain it the best I can. You can either go ahead and cast the Flaxen Intruder for 1 green mana, and it will be a 1/2 creature human berserker, uncommon. When Flaxen Intruder deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment. The middle blade was just right. Oh, I love the flavor text. Love it. Or what you can do instead is do the sorcery Welcome Home, 5 generic 2 green sorcery adventure, create 3 2/2 green beast creature tokens. When you cast this sorcery, you can exile the card as a whole, and then you can play the Flaxen Intruder from exile. So it's basically a sorcery that you send on an adventure. It's a creature you send on an adventure into exile, and then you can cast it back from exile. It has been on its adventure. So, very interesting mechanic. I love it. I honestly love it. It's something, it shows me that Wizards can still keep this game fresh, you know? I would have never even fathomed a adventure, you know? So, anyways, that, the card as a whole, though, it's a lot of mana. 7 mana for 3 2/2 green beast, you know? I know. I'm going to complain about the tokens from this set, and I apologize in advance. And then, of course, you know, it's basically 7 mana to get 2/2 greens, and then 8 mana altogether to get a 2/2, 2/2, 2/2, and then a 1/2 that can potentially destroy a artifact or enchantment. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting, for sure. Next card, Loevstruck Beast. 2 generic 1 green, creature beast noble. It is a rare. So you can either cast this for 3 CMC, 2 generic 1 green, and get a Loevstruck Beast can't attack unless you control a 1/1 creature. His mind chose solitude, but his heart disagreed. I'm sorry. Again, these kind of get blurred sometimes when I blow them up, and they weren't the best scans to begin with. So just bear with me while I try to read these cards, and I do apologize in advance. So it is a 5/5 for 3 mana, and hey, that's pretty good. 5/5 for 3 mana. Now, granted, you do have to have a 1/1 creature on the battlefield. But hey, wait, Heart's Desire. Turn 1, 1 green mana sorcery. Create a 1/1 white human creature token. Belle. Oh my god, it's Belle, guys. This is Beauty and the Beast, of course, if you're guessing. Oh, and I'm sorry. I meant to go over this. This is Goldilocks, the Flaxen Intruder. So anyways, sorry. But what I find really interesting is, yeah, you know, it's a 5/5 for 3 that you can attack. You can actually block with this creature whenever, but you can't attack unless you have a 1/1. What I find interesting is if you're playing Simic and you have Fibblethip out, aww, the beast loves Fibblethip. Aww. I think that would be a very interesting connection of cards. Synergy. I'm sorry, I'm looking for the word. Synergy between Fibblethip and Lovestruck Beast. I do appreciate that they did not make this a legendary creature. I do appreciate that. So the next card, Witch's Cottage. So it's a land, it's a swamp. Oh my god, it's a land swamp. Tap it, add a black, whatever, it's a swamp. Witch's Cottage enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more other swamps. Okay, a swamp with a condition. When Witch's Cottage enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Graveyard recursion on a land that you don't even have to pay for. We just saw when it comes to standard, because in historic it will still be there, Memorial to Folly, which wasn't really necessarily used a lot, but it had its purposes sometimes. I don't know if I had a recent video or just made a recent deck to play offline or off air. That I used Memorial to Folly, and this is a very much better Memorial to Folly. I like it. I really do. Yeah. I do want to mention that if you can tutor for a swamp, you can tutor for this, and that's going to become really good in Commander, and I don't play Legacy and Modern, but I assume Legacy and Modern, it will probably become really relevant. So keep that in mind if you play Legacy and Modern, and especially Commander. The best format ever. Just going to throw it out there. Golden Egg. Well, this is from Jack and the Beanstalk. It is 2 generic. Artifact, food. It is a food artifact. I believe that is common rarity. I don't like this new symbol because I can't tell the very well the difference between common and uncommon. But anyways, when Golden Egg enters the battlefield, draw a card. Hey, 1 generic, tap it, sacrifice Golden Egg, add 1 mana of any color. 2 generic, tap it, sacrifice Golden Egg, you gain 3 life. It is a food, of course. It is a food token. So, for a common, it's whatever. You know, 2 generic, draw a card, and then potential goodness in the future. Now, there are some synergies that I'd like to mention. Artifacts are getting kind of a boost. They're kind of getting a boost. I'll show you a card later that's blue that at the beginning of combat could turn this into a 4/4, and then if it all of a sudden happens to try to die and you have some open mana, well, you can do some stuff with it. So that's pretty interesting, and keep that in mind for the food counters as well, I would like to say. Crystal Slipper, 1 generic, 1 red, artifact equipment. Equipment is actually going to become very relevant, believe it or not. So it is a common. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has haste. Equip 1. So this is very similar to Lightning Greaves, and that's the reason why I'm very excited for this card, because if you're a Commander player and you don't know what Lightning Greaves are, you probably haven't been playing for long. Lightning Greaves is just insane, and this being so very similar, I'm actually looking up Lightning Greaves while I talk. Lightning Greaves is 2 generic mana, so yes, you have to be playing red for this. Equipped creature has haste and can't be targeted with spells or abilities, and has a equip cost of 0. So it's so close to Lightning Greaves, it's almost scary. You know, the +1/+0 is the only reason why the equip cost is 1. I assume because they did not want it to be the same as Lightning Greaves, they gave it a red. I wouldn't think Cinderella, because this is what that fairy tale is. The Cinderella would be red, but whatever. After the death of her mother, Cassia found that things that appear fragile can be very strong indeed. Beyond the Great Hinge. I would like to mention, while I'm reading that flavor text, that there is not a lot of flavor text on most of these cards, and I'm wondering why. I assume they're trying to still keep the story a little bit of a secret. Whatever, you know. But just keep that in mind when we're going through this. It's only like, I want to say 5 or 6 cards that have actual flavor text, so yeah. Witching Well, 1 blue mana. I do not know what this one is from. When Witching Well enters the battlefield, scry 2. It is a artifact. Pay 3 generic mana and a blue, sacrifice Witching Well. Draw 2 cards. It was built by the Witch of Lochmere. Most of the wishes it grants are its own. Oh, wow, okay. So it's a selfish Witching Well. So, yeah, you know, 1 blue mana to scry 2. Okay, and then later on it becomes basically a Chemist's Insight, you know, well, just to give it relativity, Chemist's Insight, or a Divination, I believe is the card I'm thinking of. The 2 generic, 1 blue mana, and draw 2 cards. But yeah, so it's basically the front end of a Chemist's Insight later on, and then up front it's a scry 2. So altogether 5 mana to scry 2, then draw 2 cards. Isn't that bad, honestly? For the late game, this is actually really good. Come to think of it, especially for a common. Midnight Clock, 2 generic, 1 blue, artifact, and it is of rare rarity. Tap and add a blue. 2 generic and a blue, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. When the 12th hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards. Exile Midnight Clock. So this is really good because it helps us. In my commander, in my mono blue commander, I like to be able to shuffle my graveyard back in, and so that's why I appreciate cards like this. There's probably only 2 that I have in there. I forget the name of the more recent one that was in Ravnica, but the one that was an Amonkhet that I use is Commit to Memory. Memory being the card that actually shuffles my library, or my graveyard back into my library. So I do appreciate Midnight Clock as a whole, but in Standard I just don't see it. In Historic I don't really see it either. So just for Commander, I think it's going to be a cool card. Maraleaf Pixie, 1 green, 1 blue, creature fairy, and it's an uncommon. Has flying, and then it has tap it, add a green or a blue. Neither hostile nor friendly. Pixies flit through the forest seeking the treasures of the wilds, and it is a 2/2 for 2 with flying that's a mana dork. So, cool. I think you'll see play, honestly. Mana dorks normally see play. A flying mana dork that doesn't have a 1/1 base is actually pretty good. So I think we'll see play. Gilded Goose. Somebody compared this card to Birds of Paradise, by the way. I don't see it, but whatever, you know? Gilded Goose, 1 green mana, creature bird. It is rare. It has flying. When Gilded Goose enters the battlefield, create a food token. There's your explanation of a food token. It's an artifact with 2 generic and tap it, sacrifice the artifact, you gain 3 life. The end of burn, I hope. I really hope it's the end of burn. Dear God, please God, end of burn. 1 generic, 1 green, and tap it. Create a food token. Awesome, it makes food tokens. Tap it, sacrifice a food, add 1 mana of any color. So it actually is an engine. If you don't really care for the whole food thing or creating it into 4/4 creatures that we'll be talking about later, then this makes it into mana. So yeah, I guess that's the Bird of Paradise part right there, is that it's a 1-drop that add 1 mana of any color. So yeah, again, like I said with Maraleaf Pixie, any mana dork is going to see play. It already enters the battlefield with a food counter. So it already enters the battlefield with the ability to add 1 mana of any color on the next turn, of course, after it loses Summoning Sickness. So, yeah, I could see it being in play. It better be for a rare. It is a 0/2 too, which means that, you know, if you're playing against Cavalcade of Calamity decks, then yeah, you know, you have a defense. Yeah. Eye Collector. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Gilded Goose is from, you guessed it, Jack and the Beanstalk. It laid the golden eggs from earlier. Eye Collector, 1 black mana, creature fairy. It is a common, flying. When Eye Collector deals combat damage to a player, each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. This is going to be a relevant card for a legendary creature I'm going to be mentioning later. And it is not Lord Rankle, although he is in this video. Lord Rankle will see you now. All he asks is a small token of tribute, and it is a 1/1. Wishful Merfolk, it's the Little Mermaid. It is a 1 generic 1 blue creature merfolk common. It has defender. Although, if you pay 1 generic 1 blue, Wishful Merfolk then loses defender and becomes a human until end of turn. Aww, she gets her legs. She yearned to walk on dry land, so she might take her vengeance there. Vengeance? Really? Okay. Anyways, it's a 32 for 2 that becomes a non-defender later on for 2 mana. As a common, this probably see play. You'll probably see play more in, I assume, Pauper for sure, but also in Sealed and the Sealed events that we're going to have. Which, by the way, if you have a local game store, please, 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 please go to their Sealed events. Go to their drafts when draft weekend starts up, but most importantly, go to their pre-release events. It is so fun, and I cannot say that anymore. I'm sorry, just a little rant about pre-release. I'm looking forward to it for this. I want to see which pre-release promos I get, honestly, and I hope I get to play. I think mine's going to do 6 different pre-releases, so I hope I get to play all 6, honestly. I'll spend I think he does it for 150 for all 6. Tome Raider. It's a Tome Raider, everybody. That looks nothing like Angelina Jolie. 2 generic 1 blue creature fairy. It is a common. It has flying. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. We have somebody that already does that. Cloudkin something from M20. Already does that, but it's a fairy, so what you gonna do? Humans are so forgetful. Every page I steal becomes a secret they can't remember. Run away together. I have no clue what fairy tale this is from, by the way. Frankenstein, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, 1 generic, 1 blue instant. It is a common. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. This would be really good with Fibblethip, honestly. And that creature kind of... I'm not even going to lie. That creature looks nothing like Fibblethip. But, you know. Anyways. Virtue is virtue. Whatever the heart that nurtures it. Malakon Ventress Exile. Okay. All of a sudden, flavor text on comments, by the way. Trying to prove me wrong about the 5 or 6 flavor texts. Faerie Vandal. 1 generic, 1 blue creature fairy rogue. It is a uncommon. Look at that. It has flash, which is pretty good because Simic Flash isn't going to lose too much. Has flying. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Faerie Vandal. History may be written by the triumphant, but it's often rewritten by the troublesome. Okay. Here's Rankle, Master of Pranks, Fairy Rogue, 2 generic, 2 black mana, legendary creature, mythic rare. Has flying, has haste. When Rankle, Master of Pranks, deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card. Each player sacrifices a creature. That's actually kind of insane. When I first read this card, I thought it was choose 1, but it's choose any. So you can make you can make each other discard a card. If you don't have a card to discard, then whatever. You can also, I assume, stack these effects like you want to. So discard a card, then draw a card and lose a life. That's not bad. Each player sacrifices a creature is insane. I know that's a potential that you have to sacrifice a Rankle, but imagine if you didn't. For Commander, this will be a really good card. Probably in the 99, if I'm going to be honest. Not the number 1 spot. Not the Commander. In Brawl, potentially. I could see it. I could see it potentially in Brawl, where you have a lesser field of things that can take care of Rankle. As far as this creature is, I think the art... I'm thinking Puck from... I know this is probably going to be very wrong, but Midnight Summer Dream, which is Shakespeare. That's my biggest guess. My friend's guess, Rumpelstiltskin. I don't know how he gets it. I really don't. Rankle, Rumpelstiltskin. But anyways, 3/3 flying with haste is pretty good. I think you'll see play in Standard, honestly. Order of Midnight, 1 generic, 1 black, creature human knight. Ooh, we're getting into the knights. It is uncommon. You can either cast it as a creature for 2 generic, or for 1 generic and 1 black. Well, then have flying. Order of Midnight can't block. Oh no, it is a 2/2 that can't block. But if you cast it for its Ultra Fate, 1 generic, 1 black, sorcery adventure. Ooh. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Yes! This actually becomes a... Gravedigger, I think is the name of the zombie I'm thinking of. Very close to a Gravedigger. Except for I think a Gravedigger can block, and I believe a Gravedigger is 3 CMC instead of 4. Relatively, this would be 4 to do all of that. So yeah, but hey, you're playing cards with from Exile, so that's pretty cool. Syr Konrad, the Grim. 3 generic, 2 black. Legendary creature, human knight. It is an uncommon. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Syr Konrad, the Grim, deals 1 damage to each opponent. 1 generic, 1 black. Each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. It is a 5/4. So, I think it's interesting to note that it doesn't award you for having your creatures die, but it does award you for playing discard and potentially, like, I could see this play especially in, like, Commander in a wheeling deck, because it almost becomes a Nekusar, honestly. If you're playing against creature-heavy decks, you know, this is actually a pretty good card for 5 mana. The other thing is it supports itself. Each player puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. If it's a creature, well, you're dealing 1 damage to each opponent. Either if it's from yours or from one of your 3 opponents. That's really good too. I didn't think about that. That's really insane in Commander. The other thing to mention is that this is very good for graveyard recursion. We have Golgari now, and so there's a potential that it will be okay in Golgari. You know, there's, whenever I make these videos, I always forget names of cards that I normally know. Something Tomb, and it basically makes bats when a creature leaves your graveyard. It is also very important to mention that this card hates Kaya, because Kaya says that she tries to exile creatures from your graveyard. And then, well, I guess it doesn't hate it per se, but it definitely negates the amount of life gain that they're getting. So, yeah. Smitten Swordmaster. 1 generic, 1 black. Creature human knight. Hey, a knight. It has lifelink. It is a 2/1. My quest, why to marry Ayara or die trying. Aww. I don't know who Ayara is, otherwise I'd take a guess and a stab at who this is. By the way, I also don't know who Syr Konrad is. I'm sure some prince. I'm sure some prince from some freaking something. So, another adventure. Curry Favor. It is a black, 1 black, sorcery. You gain X life and each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of knights you control. Yes, guys, knights are going to be a very big thing. This is just a common. Foulmire Knight. 1 black mana, creature zombie knight. Uncommon. Hey, it's a knight. Profane Insight. 2 generic and 1 black. It's an instant. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. not the best instant. Not the best sorcery, but hey, it's black. What can you ask for? Death Touch. Then can become a 1/1 Death Toucher, or you could do this turn 1. Make it a 1/1 Death Toucher. Zombie Knight. Yes, guys. A Zombie Knight. And again, I know I keep mentioning Knights. We're getting to the cards that will make Knights relevant. Please, hang on. There's 57 cards to go over today. Tournament Grounds. This is one I was just talking about. Lens. Uncommon. Tap it. Add a generic mana. Okay. Tap it. Add Mardu colors. Red, white, or black. Spend this mana only to cast a Knight or Equipment spell. No one knows when the tournament began. All they know is that it will never end. So yes, guys, this is a very good support land for Mardu Knights, which is what it's going to look like if you're playing Knight Tribal. Red, white, black. Very nice. I kind of wish that it was Abzan to take a homage from Dominaria when Abzan Knights were a thing. In Historic, I guess this could still work towards Abzan. The only thing it can't do is Abzan is green, white, black, and Mardu is red, white, black, so the red on this card will be less relevant, but hey, what can you ask for better? A white-black card that doesn't come in untapped unless you pay 2 life, or it comes in tapped and you have to do this, or if you have a, you know what I'm saying, buddy, check, whatever. Embereth Shieldbreaker, 1 generic, 1 red creature, human knight. It is an uncommon. Very cool. This, of course, they talked about this when they were discussing the different things before they started the spoiler season, and this is going to be a special art card. If you look at it, that's definitely not going to be the very common art that you can just open up in a pack and it's one of the uncommons that you got. This will be in a pack, maybe out of 20 packs. I don't know the ratio, but yeah, an alternate art that looks insane. It took me a minute to actually look at it. I actually will take my mouse so I can show you. This is the head right here. Like, honestly, I don't know why, but I kept looking at this card sideways all day, and I was like, is this some type of monster or something? No, the white is like the ground and the hood on this head, just so you can look at the card straight. If that wasted your time, I apologize. It literally took me 5 minutes to be able to actually see the art of this card. It was so distracting. Creature Human Knight, 2/1. Courage is the only shield I need. Wow, okay. That's why you have a small butt. Battle Display, 1 red mana, Sorcery Adventure! Destroy target artifact. Okay. Fireborn Knight. Hey, it's a knight. Hybrid mana, red or white, ×4. Creature, human knight, uncommon, I believe. Double strike. Again, hybrid mana of 4. Fireborn Knight gets +1/+1 until end of turn. He endured the white hot blaze of the circle and the sweltering heat of the Iron Crag and something about being victorious after all of these tribals, I guess. But this is kind of an expensive card. I guess it has to be an uncommon, it does have double strike. It looks like it's a 2/2, I want to imagine. Maybe a 2/4, which would be insane. But a 2/2 with double strike is really good because it gets that first strike, then it gets another. So, yeah, and then it gives itself +1/+1. So then it can become a 3/3 for an extra 4 mana each turn. That's pretty good because if it doesn't go to a creature, it deals 6 to the face. So, and then you can pump it after he declares no blockers, your opponent. So yeah, that's pretty good. I like Fireborn Knight. Plus, really cool art. I am not counting this random fire that's in the picture for no reason. The Circle of Loyalty. Yes, 4 generic, 2 white, legendary artifact. It is mythic rare. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each knight you control, so potentially you can cast a spell for 2 white mana. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with Vigilance. Pay 3 generic and 1 white mana, tap the artifact, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with Vigilance. Yes, I know how to say words. Anyways, The thought, again, I know I keep coming back to my favorite legendary and standard right now, Fibblethip, but the thought that you can play Azorius, and then you can play Fibblethip, and then Fibblethip can draw you a card and make a 2/2 white knight creature token with Vigilance is insane to me. Insane that that's a thing. Why is that a thing? And then your Fibblethip will be a 2/2 because all your creatures, not just knights, get +1/+1. This is an Anthem card. It is very wise of them. Very wise of them to make this a legendary. I cannot fathom this not being a legendary. Wintermoor Commander, 1 white, 1 black, creature human knight, uncommon. I am again sorry for all the blurriness on this. It has Death Touch. Wintermoor Commander toughness is equal to the number of knights you control. Whenever Wintermoor Commander attacks, another target knight you control gains indestructible until end of turn. And then it explains that indestructible is damage and effects that say destroy, don't damage it. Don't destroy it. Again, so sorry about the Maltese if y'all can hear that. I really hope my sound reduction is working today. Heraldic Banner, 3 generic artifact uncommon. As Heraldic Banner enters the battlefield, choose a color. Creatures control of the chosen color get +1/+0, and then tap it, add 1 mana of the chosen color. Very nice. Very nice to see an uncommon mana stone. What do you call those? Mana dork, mana stone, whatever you want to call it. That is a half Anthem. It's more of a fire breathing, I guess. And then it also can tap for the chosen color. I like that. It will definitely see play in Historic. I mean, if Gauntlet of Might, God, I hope I chose the right card. If Caged Sun can see play in Commander, this can see play in Historic. So, and definitely in Brawl for sure. Oh yes, some more Planeswalkers. All 3 Planeswalkers, by the way, were spoiled today, and so me and my buddy were talking. Just real quick before I get into this, me and my buddy were talking about how all 3 there's only supposed to be 3 Planeswalkers in this set, and I was like, well, we have Oko, we have a special Planeswalker. I'm still not giving it away just yet, guys. You're gonna have to wait and watch. And then you have Will and you have Rowan. How are they going to do all 4 that have been said are going to be in the set, but only do 3 Planeswalkers? And well, this is how. They copped out, guys. 1 generic, 1 blue, 1 red. Legendary Planeswalker, Will Rowan. It is mythic rare. +1, draw a card, then discard a card. +1. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike and trample until end of turn. -8, draw 4 cards. When you do, the Royal Scions deal damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. Honestly, I'm kind of disappointed in this card. It's a 3 converted mana cost Planeswalker that comes down for 5, but I mean, I wish they would have honestly gave us a 3 loyalty, 3 CMC Planeswalker that can actually do crap and not have to support your actual hand. And I don't like it. I really don't. The art's pretty cool. I like the art. Garruk, Cursed Huntsman, 4 generic. Yes, guys, this is who I was talking about. Garruk. Garruk, 4 generic, 1 black, 1 green, gold Garruk color. Legendary Planeswalker Garruk, mythic rare. It does not have a plus any ability, guys, but this is what it has. Pay or +0. Create 2/2 black and green wolf creature tokens with, when this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on each Garruk you control. Yes, guys, this will see play in Commander. Yes, it will. -3, destroy target creature, draw a card. That's very nice. You can do that right off the bat because it is a 5 loyalty commander or 5 loyalty Planeswalker. -6, you get an emblem with creatures you control get +3/+3 and have trample. What more could you want, guys? Because then you can make 5/5 black and green wolf creature tokens with this. When this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on Garruk and on each Garruk you control, and then they also have trample. That's great. I love this card. This is what we want from Garruk, guys. We've missed him. He's back. Very nice. He's still cursed. Korvold, Fae-Cursed King. It is a dragon something. Dragon no? What? It's a dragon no? 2 generic, 1 black, 1 red, 1 green. That is Jund. Legendary creature, dragon no. Mythic rare, flying. Whenever Korvold, Fae-Cursed King, enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Korvold and draw a card. So this will be very interesting to go with food counters, honestly, because you're sacrificing them. So every single time you sacrifice a food counter with Korvold on the battlefield, you will gain 3 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Korvold, and draw a card. That's pretty nice. I like that. Gives meaning, again, to their useless food counters that are going to definitely fix burn. Piper of the Swarm. Yes, it is the Pied Piper. 1 generic, 1 black creature, human warlock. It is a rare. Rats you control have menace. Oh my god, is this a rat card? 1 generic, 1 black, and tap it. Create a 1/1 black rat creature. Yes, it is, guys. It is a rat card. 2 generic, 2 black. Tap it. Sacrifice 3 rats. Gain control of target creature. Oh my god, and it has mind control. This card, guys, is going to be insane because, I believe we still have a rat. I'm going to have to think back. I know that, I think we still have Bilge Rat? Oh, God. Burglar Rat. That's the one. That is a 2-drop that makes opponent discard a card. I don't think we have the Rat Colony anymore. I believe Rat Colony is going out of standard. It will still be definitely still being historic. So good luck to that. If you play historic, you might be getting overrun by rats. They have menace. Oh my god, this gives them menace. Oh my gee. Alright, so let's see here. Rat Colony. That's what I was looking up. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the Rat Colony was from Dominaria, so this will not be in standard. Thank god. It is a 1/3. It is a 1/3, and I believe it will see play. Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale. 3 generic, 1 red, 1 white, 1 black. Guys, this is the legendary creature Human Knight. He's the commander of all the human Mardu Knights. It has mythic rare. It is vigilance. It is menace. It has a 5/5. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Okay. Equipped creatures you control, equipment you control have equipped to a knight 0. Your cost to equip to this knight is 0. This is good, really good. Very cool commander to build around, I'm sure. Vigilance and menace, and then a draw engine on its own. 6 mana is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it does have menace, it does have vigilance. I will keep mentioning that because it's very good. The only thing it's missing is lifelink, in my opinion. And I would pay a 4th generic just to have it with lifelink, honestly. As far as standard, I definitely see this in play as a top end. I don't think it's going to be commonly played, but I do think that it will be a good top end for your Knight deck, your Mardu Knight deck. There is another card that I think I will mention here in a minute, and it is insane to go with this. So, yeah, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. Alila, Artful Provocator. 1 generic, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black. Legendary creature, Faerie Wanderer? I don't know. I'm not even guessing. Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Hey, really cool. It gets something from each color. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0. Whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying, and then it has 2/3. So, very good card. Death Touch is very important since it also has lifelink, I believe. Very nice. Very good card. I think you'll see play. I honestly think these are the commanders for the Brawl decks. That hasn't been confirmed, but I do believe that is what these are. Mace of the Valiant. 2 generic, 1 white, artifact equipment. It is a rare. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each charge counter on Mace of the Valiant and has vigilance. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a charge counter on Mace of the Valiant. So, yes, this is going to be a cool card. 3 mana, 3 to equip it. Very good card. Very cool card. I like the designs that they're going with here. Faerie Formation. 4 generic and 1 blue. Creature fairy. It is rare, I believe. Flying. 3 generic and 1 blue. Create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. Then draw a card. So if you have a lot of blue mana in the late game, you definitely want this 5/4 fairy in your party. And you definitely want it to draw you cards and make you tokens. Very nice. Very nice. Shimmer Dragon, 4 generic, 2 blue mana, creature dragon. It is rare, has flying, as long as you control 4 or more artifacts, which isn't hard with food artifacts, guys. Shimmer Dragon has hexproof. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, draw a card. Oh my god, your food artifacts are all of a sudden drawing you cards. No way. 5/6 dragon for 6. Pretty good, honestly. It's not the usual 5/5 dragon, which is interesting. And then you can have hexproof, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. If it has hexproof and you're using your useless food cards, then guess what, guys? You're drawing 2 cards a turn. Workshop Elders. This is the card I was talking about earlier. This is another thing food is going to enjoy, okay? 6 generic, 1 blue mana. Creature, human, artificer. It is a rare. Artifact creatures you control have flying. Oh my god, that's good. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have target non-creature artifact you control become a 0/0 artifact creature. If you do, put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. So then it becomes a 4/4 flyer. You don't even have to attack with it. So, yes, very nice. Very expensive, 7 mana, but hey, very nice. Taste of Death, 4 generic, 2 black. Love the art. I believe this is from Sleeping Beauty. Sorcery, rare. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures. You create 3 food tokens. Wow. Wow, guys. That's insane. I honestly love it. And making people sacrifice their creatures is kind of my hobby. Steelbane Hydra. This Hydra. This Hydra has some meaning in our life. It looks like a turtle. Look at that. X, 2 green. Creature Turtle Hydra. That's because it is a turtle. It is rare. Steelbane Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. You can pay 2 generic and 1 green. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Steelbane Hydra. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, and then it is a 0/0 until you put those +1/+1s on it. In our commander group, we have a specific player who only plays artifacts for the most part. I won't give him a name other than Luke. But anyways, Luke loves to play these artifact decks, and something that kills us every time is that we just get overrun. I've told him before that I'm just going to put Byforce, which is a X cost 1 red mana card that destroys X artifacts in my deck just for him. Just for him, because that's how much we've lost these artifacts. So to see an answer to artifacts is really good. It's a continual answer because of how many +1/+1s on it, and then if you can reoccur it, which it's in green, so Golgari, could definitely reoccur this and make this card insane. I don't know what it's going to do for standard. Thorn Mammoth, 5 generic and 2 green. Creature elephant, rare. It has trample. Whenever Thorn Mammoth or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Thorn Mammoth fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. It's a 6/6. Something to mention with this, by the way, guys, is that if you are doing this on your main phase 1 or main phase 2, remember that if it took damage at all this turn and you decide to fight it again, that it could potentially die. So keep in mind, you probably aren't going to be swinging with this. You're probably going to use this as a continual destroy target creature card. Just saying. I do love that it is a May ability, right? Up to. So you can choose 0. Whenever enters the battlefield under your control, fights up to. Yeah, you can choose 0. That's the whole reason for up to there. Banish into Fable. I love the art for this. They've been basically forced into a painting. 4 generic, 1 white, 1 blue. Instant, rare. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, copy it if you control an artifact. Then copy it if you control an enchantment. You may choose new targets for the copies. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. You create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. Something I want to mention about this card is that it could be really good with is it Viceroy, I believe? That says whenever you cast a spell or whenever you copy a spell, deal 1 damage to target planeswalker or player, or, yeah, opponent. So this card could potentially ping 3. So, and then leave you back some blockers, and then return target non-land permanents to its owner's hand. And it's an instant, which is really good. So, I'm thinking it's a little expensive, honestly, if I'm going to be honest. Way expensive. But I think it'll be worth it in the long run. Maybe it was a 2 of. I wouldn't put 4. Knight's Charge. 1 generic, 1 white, 1 black. Enchantment rare. Whenever a knight you control attacks each opponent, loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Drainage. 6 generic, 1 white, 1 black. Sacrifice Knight's Charge. Return all knight creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Guys, this is Glorious Rebirth for knights. This is insane. Insane. I know it's a little more expensive than Glorious Rebirth, don't get me wrong, but then it's a front end. Your Knight's Charge let you gain life off of knights, and since they have vigilance, you really are attacking with most of your knights, because most knights have vigilance. I'm not saying all do, but most knights have vigilance, so you're really attacking with a lot of your knights, and you're draining a lot of life. And we've seen this in vampires with God, I can't think. I told you guys, I start recording, can't think of names, but there was a specific vampire that said whenever you attack with a vampire, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, or target opponent, I think. But anyways, and it would win games, because even if it deals 4, it could be the last 4 that you're dealing, you know? If they have blockers to all your crap, this is a great way to make sure that they're still getting dealt damage and you're still gaining life, which is really good. Tome of Legends, 2 generic, artifact rare. Tome of Legends enters the battlefield with a page counter on it. Cool. Whenever your commander enters the battlefield or attacks, put a page counter on Tome of Legends. So this is really good for Brawl. Again, some of these cards are just for Brawl. And Commander for this. But 1 generic, tap it. Remove a page counter from Tome of Legends. Tome. Draw a card. It's a 2 generic artifact that lets you draw cards based on your commander. And then, of course, it already has 1 page counter on it. So, meh. Venerable Knight. 1 white. Creature human knight. Uncommon. When Venerable Knight dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target knight you control. Very good 1-drop. Honestly, beefs your other creatures. So, very nice. All That Glitters. 1 generic, 1 white. Enchantment Aura. It is an uncommon. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So, you could potentially beef your creature based on how much food you have. So, yeah, that's kind of nice, guys. Again, with the food counters. Frogify. 1 generic, 1 blue. Enchantment Aura. Uncommon. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog creature with base power and toughness 1/1. Princess and the Frog, I think is the name of the Disney. Yeah. It loses all other card types and creature types. So, basically, you turn their big creature that's very scary, very indestructible, by the way, very indestructible, into a 1/1 little froggy that can't do anything. Animating Fairy. Welcome to Pinocchio. 2 generic, 1 blue. That is the blue fairy. Creature fairy. Uncommon. Flying. It's 2/2. Or you can bring to life. 2 generic, 1 blue. Sorcery Adventurer. Target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact creature. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. So you can turn that useless food token into a lovely little boy. I'm a real boy now. But yes, so it will then become a 4/4 creature, and because artifacts that aren't creatures already have haste, you don't have summoning sickness on this. Even if you got the food token this turn, you could instantly swing with the 4/4 artifact. And then it's still a food token, so you can sacrifice it if it starts to die. So yeah, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Belle of the Brawl, 2 generic, 1 black. Creature Human Knight. This is Belle, I believe, from Beauty and the Beast. Uncommon, Menace. Whenever Belle of the Brawl attacks, other knights you control get +1/+0 in return. Yes, they get fire breathing. 3/2. They can turn into, other knights. Excuse me, I lied. But it has Menace for 3. That's a 3/2. And a knight, which is very relevant. So, yeah, I think you'll see play. Corridor Monitor. Again, I think a Beauty of the Beast card right here. 1 generic, 1 blue. God, that's very contrast. Artifact creature construct. It's a construct. Not a construct, because we don't have those in standard no more. Sad. Common. When Corridor Monitor enters the battlefield, untap target artifact or creature you control. It is a 1/4 for 2 mana. So, very good blocker. I would like to mention, by the way, in Historic, that you will be able to make constructs that are insanely big if you play Food. So, Food Tribal, looking very good, very yummy. Keeper of Fables, 3 generic, 2 green. Creature Cat. Ooh, it's a cat. It's a stone cat, it looks like. Is uncommon. Whenever 1 or more non-human creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. It is a 4/5. So, yeah, that looks like a decent card, I guess. I don't really know how to judge this card. It's a very expensive draw engine that I think only draws you 1 per combat, and that's if it deals combat damage to a player. And it has to be a non-human, which there's a lot of humans. I mean, they're all knights, but there's a lot of them. Shine Chaser, 1 generic, 1 white, 1 blue, creature fairy, uncommon. Flying Vigilance, Shine Chaser gets +1/+1 as long as you control an artifact. Shine Chaser gets +1/+1 as long as you control an enchantment. Flying Vigilance, 3/3 potentially. For 3 is not bad, honestly. Not bad. Oh, Arcanist Owl, hybrid mana of white and blue, so Azorius hybrid mana. Artifact, creature, bird, uncommon, flying. When Arcanist Owl enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. Excuse me. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It is a 3/3 for 4 with flying. The tutors, kind of. Very limited tutor, I should say. An enchantment or an artifact. So, the thing I don't like about this is that they're doing this whole artifact and enchantment thing, and I don't know how if I appreciate that, to be honest. Slaying Fire, 2 generic and 1 red, instant. It is a uncommon. Slaying Fire deals 3 damage to any target. Adamant. If at least 3 red mana was spent to cast this spell, it deals 4 damage instead. This is actually rewarding you for playing mono. And mono red, which is dumb. I don't like it. I hate it. It's a 4 burn for 3, and I hate it. The purest virtue burns brighter than the sun, and hotter than dragonfire, and hotter than the crap that is mono red. Anyways, Steelelaw Lance, 1 black, 1 red, artifact equipment, uncommon. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. Equip Knight, 1 generic. Equip regular anything else, 3 generic. Equipped with that legendary creature that we saw from earlier, 0. Very good. Very good. Yes. Savvy Hunter, 1 generic, 1 black, 1 green creature human warrior. It is uncommon. Whenever Savvy Hunter attacks or blocks, create a food token. I think there was a Howling Golem that did the same thing. Sacrifice 2 food tokens, draw a card. Whoa, no, excuse me, I'm sorry. The Howling Golem drew you cards, didn't make food tokens. Food tokens are very relevant, I lied. Very useful, those food tokens. Another thing that you can do with your food tokens, draw cards. Just loving it, guys. Inspiring Veteran, 1 red, 1 white. Creature Human Knight, uncommon. Other knights you control get +1/+1. This is our Night Lord, and it is a 2/2. Beanstalk Giant, 6 generic mana, 1 green. Big boy giant. Beanstalk Giant's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. And of course, the Sorcery Adventurer is Fertile Footsteps, 2 generic and 1 green. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Notice it does not say put it onto the battlefield tapped. And that's very interesting. Very useful. Very useful. Embereth Paladin, 3 generic, 1 red, creature human knight, common, has haste, has adamant. If at least 3 red mana was spent to cast a spell, Embereth Knight enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. The king would die for the realm. I would not hesitate to do the same for him. Get what he does there. He doesn't hesitate because he has haste. Silver Flame Ritual, 3 generic, 1 white, sorcery, common, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Very good there. If at least 3 white mana was spent to cast a spell, creatures you control gain vigilance until end of turn. So, useful. Very useful. Tempered by fire and united in virtue, the Knights of Ardenvel fight with a single unbreakable will. Bacon to Pie. This is our last card, guys, and I appreciate y'all for sticking to this part of the video. Please again, like, share, and subscribe if you're not going to stay all the way. 2 generic, 2 black, instant, common, destroy target creature, create a food token. Yes, guys, my secret ingredient, well, I can tell you that, but here's a hint, it's not love. Oh. So I love this card because it's basically a murder +1, and the +1 is just to add a food counter to you. So you take it in your own stride. Murder compared to this, but we are losing a lot of instances that allow us to destroy target creature, and so for this to, get it, instances or sorceries, by the way, because don't forget, Walk the Plank is going away into Historic, but not in Standard. So I guess this gets a slot. It's a common. It gets a slot, I think. Yeah. But anyways, guys, that is the end of the video. I appreciate all y'all for watching. Please stick around. I am making a spoiler video every day. If I have to stay up to midnight and kill my boss in the morning, I'll do it. I will. And so I don't know when these videos are going to get uploaded, but they're getting uploaded. So thank you for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.